Hello, Kelsey Taylor here. Welcome to our top list video. Now, in the past I've done videos talking about my favorite Nickelodeon game shows to Nicktoon cartoons. Today I'm going to talk about 5 of my favorite Nickelodeon movies. Now, to make this clear, I'm only counting movies that Nickelodeon helped produce with Paramount or some other film companies, mostly Paramount. Not the films that Nickelodeon aired on TV, like TV movies or anything. That may be a list for another time, if I can remember certain ones. I'm only going to talk about theatrical release movies that Nickelodeon produced. Basically from some skits, like based off a skit from a show, or based off of a couple of their shows. There's been so many of these Nickelodeon movies. And I know I'm going to leave a bunch off the list. I can only count down on 5. I've seen a good number of them since I was a kid, but some that I've not watched in so long that I haven't seen since I was really young, So, I may have to watch a lot of those again because, like, it's either I don't remember them or I don't think they would hold up as very well. But these are the 5 ones that I fondly like, especially a couple of childhood favorites that you'll see on this list. So, let's get to it. Of course, I have to mention one honorable mention is Harriet the Spy. I haven't seen that in years, but I remember watching that movie, like, not 100 times like the others, but just mentioning there. And there's some other films that I could mention, but I even own on DVD and I had since I was a child, so. But they're not like my top favorites. These are like my top 5 Nickelodeon movies that are almost good. Well, good, just like fun, like I enjoy watching them, even though they can be silly when I watch them as an adult, but I still thoroughly enjoy them. Alright, let's get to the list. Number 5. Hotel for Dogs. This one's at the bottom of the list because I have not watched it in a very long time. When I first saw this movie, I loved it. From what I can remember, it's about a group of these kids running this hotel for dogs, and I don't know. That's all I can remember. I'm sure it would not be as great when I first saw it, like if I watched it back again. But it's like one of those Nickelodeon movies that not that many people talk about. So I decided to just mention that. I have to like watch the movie again, see if it's any good as I remembered, or probably even worse. But I remember loving that movie to death, even though I seen it one time like 10 years ago. Number 4. The Rugrats Movie. There's another one I would have put on the list with the Rugrats movies as well, was Rugrats Go Wild, which the Rugrats collab with the Wild Thornberrys. I remember liking that as a kid, but and this is another one I've not watched in years, and another one that probably wouldn't hold up very well if I see it as a 26-year-old. But the first Rugrats movie, I've done a review of it on my channel. If you go to my reviews playlist, I reviewed that film a couple of years ago. And this is one of my childhood, like one of my favorite movies from my childhood. It's kind of weird watching it now. Like, I would almost quote the whole movie in one sitting. I could quote some lines, and yeah, it's definitely ridiculous to think about. Like, especially when I watch that movie again, I'm like, oh God, oh no, I can't believe I recite that line again and again and again, not knowing how silly it is. So, yeah, I just remember it was like, out of the Rugrats movies, like theatrically, this is like the best one. And who knows what the live action remake, reboot thing is going to be like. Oh, I can't even imagine. But still, we always have the original Rugrats show and the Rugrats movie to look back on. Whether for good or for bad. But I enjoy watching it. Probably not as much because I quote the whole thing in an embarrassing way as a kid. All the time. Number 3. Wonder Park. This is one of the recent Nickelodeon movies that I think Nickelodeon is planning to put out a show based on this movie, but I don't think the movie did phenomenally well, so maybe we may still be getting it, but I don't know. And I done a trailer reaction to it when one of the trailers came out, and I said it looks cute, but like I don't remember saying it looked absolutely good, but I was like, okay, I got a few chuckles out there, but just wait until I see it on DVD. And eventually I did that, and I actually liked it a lot more than I did. I mean, it's not amazing. It's like if I recommend a really good kids movie that I recommend kids to see that came out recently, Wonder Park is definitely one, and one that I can't talk too much about because there's some stuff in the trailer that I thought it was one thing, and then when we watched the movies, it actually turned out to be a different kind of thing. I may talk about it again in my favorite movies of 2019 video when I make it in January. I don't know. It just depends how many movies I see the rest of this year. But Wonder Park is definitely a really good, decent kids movie. Is it mainly for adults? Not really, but I think certain adults can tolerate it, like I did. I went to this movie expecting to hate it, but I actually ended up liking it. Not loving it though, but it's probably one of the best recent Nickelodeon movies I've seen. Number 2, the Spongebob Squarepants movie. Now this one I can quote the whole entire thing. Honestly, you're quoting it right now. They're laughing next to us. You're quoting the Goofy Goober song. Like this is like one of the most quotable movies that when this movie came out, when I think I was in the 5th grade, everybody was reciting it constantly. I mean, we recite the Baby Bubbles, you know the Baby Bubbles scene. God, I don't remember the whole name, but it's like I watched that movie, SpongeBob SquarePants, the original movie, like all the time. I mean, like a lot, and this is where SpongeBob was at his height of popularity, and that was like, I don't know, one of the last few good like in my opinion, that's where I kind of lost interest in the SpongeBob series. Not a whole complete like loss of interest, but I think the episodes before the movie were the best. I'm sure many of you agree with them. SpongeBob is still going on to this day, and if you want to know my thoughts on the other SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, I like that one. I talked about that before. I may talk about it again sometime before the end of the year. I like that one, but I think the first SpongeBob movie is probably the best. Although it's not like one of those movies like the Rugrats movie where I would watch it back and be like, oh god, I can't believe I would quote that. But it's still one of those quotable movies I enjoy watching, and I still do, and haven't watched it in a long time. But the first SpongeBob movie, if any of you kids watching this who weren't born yet when the first SpongeBob movie came out and you've never seen that one, definitely give it a chance. It's really not all that bad. And rest in peace, Steven Hillenburg. Now, here's my number 1 favorite Nickelodeon movie of all time, and one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? This was my childhood right there. It is silly, but it's fun. It's hilarious. Another movie I can quote the whole thing. Like a lot of these movies I've watched, I can probably quote the whole thing in my sleep. It's like a lot of lines, but Good Burger is based off the the Good Burger sketch from all that, and it's absolutely hilarious. And it's kind of cool now seeing the movie like in the $3 bin at Walmart, especially the Walmart that I go to. Like the film was out of print for a while, and they brought it back. They probably had it back within the past year or so, but Good Burger is definitely a movie that I think kids today should see, and definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. It is just silly fun. Is it for adults? Well, my mom handled it okay when Dylan and I were watching it when we were young, and it's definitely not like a, I don't know. It just depends. Like if you're an adult and you grew up watching Good Burger, it's definitely one of the best ones that really hold up. Or if you think it's kind of ridiculous, because it is a ridiculous movie, but to me it's very funny, and I enjoy watching it. Definitely a childhood favorite, and I even have the book here, and somewhere I have to go through my boxes and check. Many people don't know this, but they made a sequel based off the movie in book form. Would it be kind of interesting, like if Kenan and Kel played these characters now, they would base it off the book that nobody read? That would really be bizarre, but you know, like if they're interested in bringing Good Burger back, then I don't know. Who knows what's going to be like now, but yeah, Good Burger, my all-time favorite Nickelodeon movie that's been theatrically released. One of my favorite movies of all time, like in my top 15. And yeah, definitely one that anyone should check out to see how fun and ridiculous it is. But I don't know. If you have seen any of these movies I've mentioned on the list, let me know what you think of them, or what some of your favorite Nickelodeon movies are, like theatrically released in this sense. So thank you so much for watching my top 5 video talking about my favorite Nickelodeon movies theatrically released. And I'll catch you guys next time. Adios.